Earlier this year, Marvel Studios had one of their giant meeting retreats to discuss all things going forward. And one of the big points of discussion was pivoting the entire future of the MCU as it was announced to be revolving around Kang the Conqueror to actually revolve around Doctor Doom in a quick swap. So every year, Marvel Studios has a lot of people that are working on current or future projects all go to a retreat where they pretty much hash out new details, new ideas, how to move forward, and also talk about the current status of various actors, projects, what's going on, and what they intend to do. According to Variety, one of the biggest pieces that was brought to the table and everybody had some sort of idea was the fact that they discussed a major backup plan that involves Jonathan Majors. Especially after all the news that hit, they were looking at possible solutions of what do you do with Kang, since we're already somewhat committed, but we could still pivot really quick because of productions being stop and go, and we haven't started shooting the next wave leading to the next Avengers film. Well, one idea that was discussed, and still, according to reports, might be on the table, is a hard pivot, aka an upcoming project would essentially dispose of Kang. However, we don't have the full details. That's obviously up to them to discuss and figure out, but it would be a swap. Essentially, Kang is gone. Here's your new villain going forward. Don't worry about how we announced the Kang dynasty, or maybe that's the ending of Kang. It's Doom. Doctor Doom was behind everything. We're focusing on Doctor Doom. He's your new big bad. Here you go. Forget about Jonathan Majors and the whole Kang thing. And honestly, I can see why this would be brought up, because they got Doom. He's coming. He's going to be a big deal, right? So, if you drop him into the MCU suddenly as a big bad and Kang was just kind of like a small pit stop, almost like an Ultron to bridge the gap, it could work. But again, they don't want to pull the trigger on this as a knee-jerk reaction too early and then it backfires. Because Disney has done that a couple times and it always resulted in them literally going back to how they were before this knee-jerk reaction. Specifically talking about James Gunn, but there's been other scenarios. So I understand why they would want this, and honestly, it's a smart contingency plan to have. Drop Doctor Doom in somewhere and here you go, right? So we'll talk more about this as things develop and we get more news, but do not be surprised if this thing does end up just fully happening at some point if Jonathan Majors is found guilty or some other things crop up. I mean, through their, lens, you can see how they're looking at it and go, that makes sense. They're going to have a contingency plan that they can pull out at any time.